Good morning, everyone. Look at that lovely mulberry tree. Apparently it's been here for about 10, 15 years maybe. I'm thinking she needs some extra water. From a permaculture perspective, what I would do here is I'd actually put a swale along here, or a ditch, so a reasonable width one, that you could just take that pipe there, which is the grey water from the house. Flies are driving me up the wall. Just take all that lovely water there, just bring it straight out here and have it fill this ditch. Put a row of mulberry trees, so these guys will just grow from cuttings. So if you get out here in Toowoomba, you can actually get mulch for free from the council. So a couple of trailer loads of wood chips and forest mulch type stuff. Just dig your ditch along here. Then put your row of your wood chips down here and just keep building it up each year, because it's going to take a long time to remediate this property. But have water coming straight from that grey water pipe. That's the septic tank system there. Have water come straight from that grey water pipe and fill this ditch up. And these mulberries will grow up so quickly, it will just blow your mind. It'd create some beautiful shade for the house. You'd have to be careful not to let the trees get too big to block the solar panels, but that's okay. Oh, this is the back of the log cabin, by the way. That's the septic system there, and the grey water pipe comes out just behind it. See, and that would grow up really, really quickly, and just have a row of, because the property, I don't know, you probably can't tell, but the property actually has a slight slope downwards. So you're having a garden bed here. So start with that one and then come out again and do another one down here once you've got that one established. So yeah, because the big thing with permaculture is you want to start close to the house. Like there's a chicken coop down here, and this is way too far away from the house for chickens, because chickens are something you're going to want to visit every single day. You want the chickens to be nice and close to the house. I mean, potentially you could actually set it up so they're partially under the house as well. Well, that's not necessarily a great idea, but the extra warmth from the birds, and the birds would also get the extra protection from the warmth from the house as well, so especially when the wood fire's going during winter. Although you really want to put a deck around the outside. I think that just should be really lovely. But this is the north side of the house. We're in the southern hemisphere. So this is the northern side of the house. That's west, that's east, that's south, obviously. So yes, so there's the person, my friend's dad was actually out here, or father-in-law was actually living out here for a while, and he had a chicken coop, chickens and turkeys, which he had out here. I would definitely look at setting up my mobile chicken coops out the back closer to the house and get them to help me repair this property. My friend said this is the drainage pit for the septic system. I'd probably look at changing that too. Mulberries grow really well on septic systems. Let's go for a wander down. Apparently there's some paddocks down here. No, I see a gate. So apparently property goes all the way over to the next property, and they've cleared their land, so you can tell where it's delineated. They've got a fence. My friend was telling me that he's seen over 12 goannas here, ranging from quite small to 4 foot, I think he said. So lots of goannas. He hasn't seen any snakes. see if I can get through here without... Ah, the flies. Driving me nuts. So this is a fully fenced paddock apparently. I didn't actually come in here last time I was out here. There was so much grass right next to the fence, I didn't want to come in. And it was late, I didn't have a lot of time. Whereas we're here for another day. So this is obviously a water trough for the animals. This water gets fed from the water tank up at the top cabin. But it also has a gutter on it as well. See, there's a float valve there so that it detects when the water level's low and fills up the trough. Obviously it's really green at the moment because nothing's been drinking out of it. Apparently I'm very interesting to the flies. I'm not finding that very good. As I said, flies are really easy to deal with. Not a problem at all. And you can actually use them as an asset. Permaculture is really big on turning problems into solutions. So really, if I had cows out here, oh, here's the back of the paddock. That's not a real big paddock. Oh, there's a second paddock there. Okay, cool. So we'll keep going. So yeah, so back to the cows and the turning these flies into a solution. So you put the cows in the spot, which you then follow. You leave them there for 24 hours and then move them on to the next spot. Out here you'd have to feed them hay because there's just not enough forage for them. Oh, flies. Sorry. So you'd be hay feeding them each day, but more prickly pear. Stuff will just grow anyway, and it's there's not much point in me pulling it out at the moment because I've got nowhere to put it so that it won't grow back. I haven't got anything with me to actually fix that up. So yes, so you leave the cows in the spot for 24 hours and then you move them on. And any hay that they don't eat will actually go to build the organic matter in the soil, which will help fix the soil fertility and improve the paddock for the next time they come through. So then obviously they're going to manure and urinate all over that paddock. You don't make it a very big paddock depending on how many cows you've got. Then you move them out, and then because flies like manure patties, flies will come in and they'll lay their maggots, they'll lay their eggs in the manure patties. I might just see if I can move this branch off the fence. Not sure if I can do it one-handed. No, I can't do it, it's too heavy. Have to chop that one up and take it off. Oh, looks like I've caught the back end of this paddock. So there's no fence at the back here. It's a bit unfortunate, but that's okay. So yes, back to the cow patties. So after 3 days after the cows have been there, the fly maggots will actually start to come out of the cow pats, and that's when you put the chickens over it. So you stick up an electric fence and take chickens through it. And the chickens will scratch up the manure paddy, so to add that extra organic matter into the soil, and they'll eat the fly larvae and will be absolutely delighted. Now, this doesn't work if you've been treating your cows for parasites, especially with ivermectin. You won't get the life in the cow paddies that you do when they haven't been treated with the chemicals. Okay, so this paddock looks like it's been cut in half. Oh, and there's another fence over there. It's a bit puzzling. And that barbed wire is strung up over to that tree. Interesting. So then the chickens spread the leftover hay that wasn't eaten. This would need to be raised up. We'd need another star picket, I think. At least another few star pickets along here to hold this fence up properly. Or tie it onto the tree, but star picket would probably be a better option. So then any leftover hay, plus the cow manure, plus the urine, plus the chicken manure, is all being scratched into the soil, and that's going to help repair your soil and make it better for the next time you bring the animals through, which could be 12 months, depending on the size of your block. Let's see if I can get that off. And it could possibly from the other side, but not from this side. So yeah. Pull this branch off the fence. I'm not entirely sure why I'm doing this. It's not like it's my property, but I can't help myself. I've been cleaning inside too. I think it's just a matter of, I have the philosophy of do unto others as I'd have them do unto me, and if someone saw a branch on my fence, I'd like it moved. I'd appreciate that. So the chickens would scratch in everything in the soil, and you leave the chickens there for about 2-3 days. And then you move them onto the next spot where the cows are. You can move them daily too. That can actually be really much better for them if you move them daily. It's a bit of work moving the electric fences around, but it's not tragic. Shut that fence, that gate, just because that's what I do. I'll go for a wander this way. See, and that's one way of building compost, building his soil. And it'll take time. This is not something that's going to repair overnight. Damage to land like this, which from what I understand has been caused by overgrazing over many, many years. Using holistic management and permaculture, you can repair this and get it back into production. Using regenerative agriculture, permaculture, and all of those regenerative principles. I'm not into sustainable, because you don't want to sustain something like this. You want to improve it. You don't want to be here and come back in 30 years' time and see that this property looks exactly the way it does now. This is not sequestering a lot of carbon out of the atmosphere. This is not producing food. This is not This is not good. This is not good at all. But no one's been living here for 30 years, and that has wrested the land. Which that is good, because the land needs to rest. It's been overgrazed, and it's not the cattle that's the problem. It's the management of the cattle that's the problem. And a lot of it was lack of understanding, lack of knowledge, probably a bit of greed. Well, a lot of greed. But just not knowing what damage is being done. And not realising that you can actually generate more of an income if you use regenerative agriculture principles. And they weren't around 30 odd years ago, much. It wasn't known about all that much. Alan Savory was only just starting to do stuff like that. Bill Mollison was only starting to do stuff like that. Although nomadic cultures have been doing it for centuries. But the Western mindset is very different. And they do things very different. I'm just not sure if I can get in here. I'm not wearing any gloves. But trees on fences is never a good thing. Doing this one-handed is interesting. Alan Savory's been doing a lot of work over in Africa, regenerating overgrazed lands. Jeff Lawton has been doing a lot of work over in Jordan, in the Dead Sea, near the Dead Sea, which is like 40 metres below sea level or something like that. There's the end of that, I'll grab that from the other end. And he's been growing in deserts. So in very salty sand with very, very minimal very minimal rain. And it's created a productive oasis that's producing a lot of food. Oh, there's a star picket there. Here we go. That could be put back in and actually fix that up. There's some little plants here. Not sure what they are. Honestly, I'm from southeast Queensland, so I live in a subtropical area. I know what grows in the subtropics. I don't really know a huge amount about growing in deserts. Except for what I've seen. I need something to cut that. Which I should have realised I would. Really not dressed for this. So watching a lot of what Jeff Lawton does in Jordan, he grows a lot of date palms, olives, pomegranates, a lot of the plants that are actually spoken about in the Bible. He grows a lot of those. That barbed wire is in a very bad spot. It should not be out like that, but you get that. Mostly because there's not much of a path. And you really need to make it so that you can walk your fences to be able to see what state they're in. Personally, I prefer to use portable infrastructure so that you can actually move it around. Okay, so there's another gate that's fallen down off its hinges by the looks of it. Or it's not been put on hinges yet. Generally, you really want gates to go in between paddocks as well, so you can move your animals from one paddock to the other easily. But that's okay. There's stuff that can be learned and changed over time. Interesting. A lot of lichen growing on that tree. And on that one. That's very interesting. But yeah, sorry, I say a lot, don't I? There is so much that can be done to repair even this soil. And using animals and using the way things work in nature. But we've got to start doing stuff. And as much as this would be an incredibly big challenge and it'd be an incredibly big job, someone's got to do it, and I would love to do it. I just don't think we're in the position to do it at the moment. I'm wondering if that's saltbush. See, things grow that grow well in an area, and it helps to remediate the area and repair it. So if you don't look after the plant, it's not going to look after you. Now, the one thing I love about this property is all the cypress pines. All of the trees that are actually growing up here, they're creating a lovely dappled light here, creating a bit of overstory so that you can plant into the understory and give it a chance. Next door, that's a recipe for erosion and for not giving it a chance to heal and restore and repair. I think he's running horses on there. I think that's what my friend told me. I'm not really certain. On the block on the next couple of blocks over though, they've got forestry things going over there where they're growing pine. It'd be a big job. Big job. But it's also not something you need to do overnight. So one thing with permaculture is you start near where you live. You start at the front in zone 1. Zone 0 is inside your house. Zone 1, you visit every day. Every day you visit stuff in zone 1. So that's a good place for chickens and a milk cow. Or goats. Or goats. You look, small prickly pear. Oh, flies. Flies. So that is just perpetuating more problems. You've got a couple of trees here and there for shade for the animals, but not enough. Not even close to enough. That's not going to remediate the soil. That's not going to repair the land. It's not going to restore it. I actually look at that and think it's quite sad. It does look like he's got a bit of grass coming up though. They've obviously had a little bit of rain out here recently. Oh, some animal droppings. No idea what they are. I'm not very good at recognising scats. Not one of my strengths. Sounds like one of the neighbours has got a chainsaw or something happening. there's not really any tracks around here that you can just follow to get to different places. So that would be something that would be very important to do. So you can check the fence line regularly, because that's really important. You've got to make sure you know where your breaches are so you can repair them. But I mean, no one's living here. No one's... No one's looking after this property at the moment. There is a caretaker, actually, that is keeping an eye on the place. But they're not doing any... Oh, they're putting up fences at the moment, actually. They're doing the fences on the boundary and cleaning up the place from the previous tenant. He was a bit of a hoarder. Lovely gentleman, but a bit of a hoarder. So this leaf litter on the ground, it's fantastic. Fantastic for helping to remediate and put the lichen. That's interesting. That is interesting. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's a bit thick through here. I've probably come through the wrong way. Not that there's actually a right way. Oh, looks like I've come up to the back fence. Yep, this is the back boundary fence. Took a while to get here, didn't it? So that's the next door, the back next door. So these are all 20-acre blocks. You can see that one's been pretty much mostly cleared. This one's just been tidied up, which I understand there's a problem with the leaf litter because it can cause fire when it's this dry. But it's also necessary to repair the soil and regenerate the area. So it's a bit of a catch-22. But my understanding is unless there's a bit of glass or something, it's not likely to spontaneously combust without assistance. Not that I'm an expert on fires, certainly not an expert on bushfires, and I'd imagine if there was a smoker out here and they just lit a cigarette butt, it could cause a problem. Flies are certainly causing me a problem at the moment. These trees should really be taken off the fence line. They're way too close. Way too close to the fence. Because they're going to get bigger. And you need to be able to... You want a fire break for one. Something was happening down here. Some sort of structure. Or something. Oh, I think that's actually the church next door. I think there's a bush church next door. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. So don't quote me on anything. So yeah, these trees that are right on the fence line need to be removed. And there should be at least a 10... I think it's... You can go up to 30 metres with your fire break. Oh, sorry. Fingers in the road. I hope you're finding this interesting. Me just... checking out the area. I hope I'm not showing you the ground too much. Okay, so this is, looks like it's a little gate to next door. This is a gate to go next door. Now, I'm not sure if this is probably the boundary line, I would say. Now, it looks like a fairly well-trodden path there. I might go the path. I believe the previous owner used to go the previous tenant used to go next door to the church all the time. Well, not all the time, but at least once a week. So let's see if I can follow the path. I mean, he hasn't been here for quite a while. It's been well over 12 months. Not the easiest path to follow. And that would be a really important path to actually keep clear. One, to being able to get to the neighbour. May not be a permanent path. It could actually be where water runs. That could be what's created this little bit of a path. Oh, some more scats. And some fresh ones. It's probably wallabies or kangaroos. I know my son was out here yesterday and he saw some wallabies. I don't know if he came out this far, but more scats. See, if there was a path to the neighbours, that would be a very important path to keep track clear. And if you're going to walk there at least once a week,